Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 120. And today, man, well, first things first, congratulations to all the competitors who partook in the Stingray this past Friday. As usual, my sport is very subjective, and there were guys who won. And I'm like, I don't know about this. Then you had guys who were clear-cut winners, that deserved to win. But yeah, man, going to a bodybuilding show. Every time I go to one, it just ignites the fire in me to want to compete again. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but anybody who competes is like once you do one show, it never really goes away. um, I'll probably be competing till my body can't no more. That's just how it is. I think at the end of the day, bodybuilding itself, it teaches you so much, not just about your body, but about your mind. And it forces you to tap into things that you normally wouldn't tap into. And that's a good thing, man. It forces you to develop this along with developing your body at the same time. Even the gym that I train at, there's so many different levels of fitness. Uh, there's this one cat, he's in his early 70s, and he doesn't look like he's in his early 70s. I thought he was in his 60s because of how well he takes care of himself. And my man was telling me, he's like, man, the secret to to living a healthy life, my man, he's like, bro, eat right, you work out, and you smash that box. And I was like, wait, what? He said, yeah, you eat right, you work out, and you smash that box. Like the more and more you get laid, the less stress you gonna have. And it was funny. Coming from a guy who's in his 70s, it's because he'll come up to me in the gym and he'd be like, man, he's like, why you showing off everybody else, bro? And because I'm over there on the leg press, got six, 7 plates on the bitch, doing my thing. So I'm over there doing that. And then because me and him used to train legs the same day. Like he was like, man, I'm gonna switch up my leg day because I'm tired of your ass showing me up, I was like, okay. I was like, all right, man. And but yeah, bodybuilding itself, man, it's interesting. It brings people together that you wouldn't think brings people together. And the one thing I'm gonna hit on today, the lack of self-confidence a lot of people have, man. And I'm not saying that they're insecure or anything like that, but it's like the lack of self-confidence people have. To me, it's glaring. When I say that, it's because it's one person I know. They'll talk themselves out of talking to a girl just simply because she's extremely attractive. And I've never understood that. Me personally, I've never looked at a woman, you know, just sexually. Unless she brought that energy, then yeah. And it has happened before quite a bit. I don't look at females like, oh, okay, I just wanna I just wanna bust a nut. And like I said, unless they bring that energy to the table, then yeah, I'm gonna treat them with respect. I'm gonna treat them, as normal as possible. And it was funny because there was a couple girls who walked past us at the show, and they was looking at me. I looked at them. I said, "Hey, how you doing? This and this and that." I made small talk conversation, and he's looking at me like, "Yo, like, how do you do it?" I'm like, "Yo, I just treat them like they normal, dog, because they all, it's like they may be tens, but they still human beings." Like just because they look good doesn't mean they want to be hit on all the time. Which is true. Self-confidence in anything, man, it can get you far. It can get you really, really far. And if you don't have that, you better work on that skill. I mean, for me, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but it took me probably a few decades to get to where I'm at now comfortably. Where I can, I can speak to women. I can, not feel self-conscious of how, of my walk or my stutter, whatever it is. And I think that just takes years and years just going out there and just, being comfortable. And I've had women tell me like, hey, well, like you're so sweet and attractive, like, how are you single? And I'm like, I'm single because I choose to be. I'm single because, I end up dealing with women who aren't emotionally available. And and that's another thing I'm gonna hit on too is a lot of women, man, they be living in their masculine energy. And what I mean by that is they put on this tough guy act all the time, and it's like, yo, you don't have to do all that with me. Just be your feminine self. And I actually had a girl. I actually told a girl that I was like, yo, why you giving off so much masculine energy? You don't have to be that around me. Just be your feminine self. And as soon as I said that, like, bro, like she just started like slowly opening up, and she just started just slowly having conversations, and she just started slowly just acting more feminine. And it's simply because like, yo, it's like you don't have to you don't have to front for me. You don't have to do whatever, all this extra shit. It's like, yo, it's like if I'm talking to you, that means I want to talk to you. And it's true, man, because like a lot of women and will live in that masculine energy because that's what they have to do. And I was talking to one of my good friends about it too, and she's like, "Yeah, honestly, it's like a lot of women were complicated, and we really don't know what we want, and then we end up getting burned because like you end up giving your energy to a situation that you shouldn't be giving your energy to, and it just happens to be that way. And when it does happen, and when you do get burned, you figure, okay, well, the last time this happened, I let down my walls, boom, 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 yada, 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 whoop de whoop, X, Y, and Z happened, it is what it is, right, And I think that's true, man. I think a lot of people, they'll let down their walls for the wrong individuals, and they'll ignore the red flags in any situation. I don't care how big, how small the red flags are, still a red flag, right? And I think the more people do that, ignore the red flags, the bigger the problems we can all become. um, I've been in situations where the girl tells me, "Oh, I don't have to show emotion," and they come to find out, like they start asking questions, they start asking all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, yo, like why do you care what I'm doing? Like number one, like we're not together, and number two, this is just simply a situation, It's not a relationship. It just a situationship, right? And girls like that, they get really, really uncomfortable, because you start treating them how they treat you, or you start treating them how they approach the situation. They're like, wait, wait, whoa, 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 slow up, or um, a lot of women I know, they have the one of their biggest love languages is words of affirmation. And I have a not that I have a difficult time, with that, because I don't. I've let females tell me like, hey, how you think I look at this dress, this and this, and I'm like, yo, like it really doesn't matter what I think, but do you like it? Like, do you like it? And they'd be like, yeah. I was like, yo, that's all that matters. Go out there and slay, and and I've had women ask me like, oh, so what's your love language? And it's simple. My love language is quality time and physical touch. And when I say physical touch, it doesn't just mean sexually. That means just it could be something as simply as holding my hand, as we watch a movie. It could be you, playing with my ears or something. I mean, it's like, you know, that type of shit. You know, it's like for me, physical touch is like, yeah, sex is great, sex is amazing, but it's not just that all the time. You know, there's a lot more than me than just you know, jumping in the sheets and doing our thing, right? And as far as quality time goes, man, I'm the type of dude. Doesn't matter where we're going. You could stop by the crib. I could stop by your crib. Or we could be going somewhere. You could wear sweatpants or a hoodie on a bonnet, and I'll be straight. I'm not gonna think nothing else. Like, nothing else about it. I've had girls tell me like, hey, I gotta put in effort, this and this, and I was like, yo, I don't care. Still want to see you. It's like it doesn't matter to me. They'd be like, what? Yeah, it's like, oh, just you can show up in gym clothes and I'll still be cool with it. It doesn't matter. And it's like I've always been that type of dude. Like, yeah, if you want to kick it with me, if you want to kick it with me, that's fine. I remember this one girl I dated in college for a little bit. And this is when my dad was still alive, so that's how long ago this shit was. My dad was a jokester. He was he had a little bit of a fucked up humor. I mean, my humor is not as fucked up as his was, but yeah. He would always say shit like, hey, hey man, this and this and that. And I don't remember what he said exactly about the girl. But I said, hey man, she could have said no, but she said yes. And he was like, what is it? Yeah, like she simply could have said no, but she said yes, so that's a good thing, that's half the battle. And I think I was like 21, or was it 21 or 22? I forget. And took her out to Dave and Buster's, and it was funny because I pulled up to her house, and and every girl has that black dress, right? She wore this like really revealing black dress, and she knew where we was going to. I said, yo, baby, what you like? We going to Dave and Buster's, right? She's like, yeah, I know. I just want to look good for you. I was like, okay, bet, and you know, that wasn't interesting, relationship, because I was young too, I didn't really know what I was doing, in terms of emotion and everything too, and I still think about it from time to time because she taught me a lot, man. She taught me, that it was okay to be, to be myself. I didn't have to be someone I wasn't. I could be comfortable in my own skin. And so, and that's where the confidence came from, man. It came from dealing with people like that. Cause I ain't gonna lie. This whole podcast is about a guy with cerebral palsy, a guy who works out, who has cerebral palsy, and but a lot of it has to do with, it's not just physical, but more mental too. And I'm the type of dude, like, yo, like, nigga, if you fuck with me, you fuck with me. If you don't fuck with me, that's cool. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't have to make excuses. You don't have to do X, Y, and Z. It's like, like, you're not gonna hurt my feelings, bro. It's like, I'm fitting to be 35, dog. And it's like, nigga, if I was 7, I'd feel a certain way about it, but I'm not, So, I think at the end of the day, man, self-confidence is a really big thing, because if you're not confident, it's going to show up, If you're not confident, it's going to pop up in ways that you're not going to think is going to pop up. Because there were a few tens that walked by me at the show. They looked at me. I smiled. They smiled back, But hey, can you blame them? Because look at all this, right? This is all this in their face. They can't help but recognize this. Okay. My bad. I'll be humble. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, there's nothing wrong with being confident. If people call you cocky, that just means they're insecure around you. Or if people call you big-headed, or especially if people get stuck on that too. Like, hey, well, yeah, well, like, well, like you're cocky, you're this, like, no, 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 no. See, you don't know the backstory. You don't know what, my situation was. You don't know all the barriers and obstacles I overcome, to become this version of me. And if I'm too much for you, then that's fine. I'm not gonna ever dim my light, to make you feel more comfortable. You know, if anything, I'm gonna bring that pressure. And when I bring that pressure, two things gonna happen. Either you gonna create a diamond or you gonna bust. You know, and I'm that dude who creates diamonds, man. Like I was telling one of my good friends, we was having a conversation. I said, yo, well, the longer you stay in something, whether it's a job or relationship, the harder it is to leave. You don't get better by staying in the same situation that doesn't serve you. And that's with anything. And they were like, what? I said, yeah, think about it. Think about every situation you've been in that that is ran its course, but you stayed in it anyway. And how did that affect you? You know? Because a lot of people, they will sit there and they will make excuses not to leave their comfort zone, not to do this, not to do X, Y, and Z. But in reality, that's exactly what you have to do. You have to do that, because if you don't do that, you end up becoming jaded, you end up becoming bitter, and you end up becoming possessive. And the last thing I'm gonna hit on is that again, me and a good friend of mine, we were having a conversation about that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being possessive to a certain extent. But I do think it's wrong when you're possessive in relationships because you dealt with traumas and everything in the past. And everybody deals with traumas differently too. Some people don't like to show emotion. Some people show too much emotion. Some people just be all up under you. I had an ex-girlfriend of mine when I was in college. She would randomly show up to my house. And when I say randomly, bro, like she wouldn't call, she wouldn't text, she would just show up. And there was a lot of times, I'll be out with friends, or most of the time I'm in the gym, and she'll call me, but like, hey, babe, where you at? Oh, I'm working out. What's up? Thinking she's at her crib, and she'd be like, oh, well, I'm outside your house. I was like, baby, what? Like, well, why would you make a 30-minute drive and not tell me that you coming? It doesn't make any sense. And she's like, well, I just wanted to surprise you. She's like, nah, baby, that's not cool. Because it's like I'm not home. I'm not ready to have anybody over. I'm not doing none of that. And she's like, what? She's like, yeah. I was like, you just can't pop up at my house and think that it's okay to do that, because it's not. And don't get me wrong, like, she was beautiful too. But the thing with her, man, it was that emotionally, it was the same thing. A lot of women have the same problem when it comes to trusting and showing emotion because of the shit they've been through. And one thing I've never understood why women do this, and it's more of a female trait than male trait. And this is not me being sexist. This is just me stating the fact. A lot of women will compare themselves to other women, even when they look better than the other woman. It's like you let these people live in your head rent free, and then you want to complain about it. But why would you complain about it if you're allowing it to happen? It doesn't make any sense. And I think a lot of people will do that simply because they want to have something else to talk about besides them. And I just never understood that, man. I've never understood having the lack of self-confidence, the lack of emotional, showing emotion, and the lack of comparing yourself to other people. I've never understood that. Anyway, guys, this is about 19 and a half minutes of your life that you won't ever get back. Jesus Christ. Hope y'all keeping it 4 piece. Private player, positive pushing. I'll see y'all next week, Sunday. Love y'all. And like I always say, know your worth because you're better than what you're doing. Ghost.